All right. Okay, part 3, structured query language injection. Thank you for watching. All right, if you don't know me or if you didn't see the previous videos, okay, these are some of the fundamental basics of structured query language injection. So previous to this, we bypassed the username and password field, okay, and if you see right here, the structured query language injection that we injected, okay, we used a logical statement, okay, for the password, and it held true, okay. Here's a little flag that we got, it held true. Now, because it held true, if you see right here from the data table, check the user, and this is what it returned, right? So this is our directory, this the question mark represents our query, the username is the parameter, and this is the item that we got back, right? So it tells us that the username is equal to admin, okay? So then now from there, okay, so now we want to figure out what the password is, so now we can always get inside there. Okay, so let's figure this one out. All right, so now we have the admin, okay, or we got the username, we know that as admin, okay, because it says taking true, return that to us, okay. Now the application program interface, okay, is going to replicate a common feature, all right, that's always used upon the sign-up form. So in other words, let's say for instance, you're a certain company or you have your own database and you have where users can sign up. It's pretty much going to replicate what people can use, can sign up, right? And that's like a checks the username. And it's going to check whether the username is already registered. If it hasn't been registered, then it's going to allow whatever username, if it meets certain criteria, right? Lowercase, uppercase, numbers, special characters, stuff like that. If it meets that criteria, it's going to accept that username as long as it meets that criteria. And if the username has not already been registered and taken, okay? If it has been prompted to use a different username, okay? So in this case, you see that's been taken true, and the username admin has already been registered, okay? And we can also confirm this by changing it and putting in a different one. So let's say we change it up here, query, right? If we put that in, it's going to come back false, right? There's no username false, okay? Username doesn't equal false. Okay, so now we got to change that. We got to come up with something else. So when it comes to structured query language injection in this type of scenario, the only thing we have command over is the string that we put into query, okay? The string that we put into the query. So we got to come up with something else to inject. So if we keep the username admin123, we can start appending it or changing it at the end of our query in a database if we come with something else. So this is where the different structured query commands come in use. So we're going to put apostrophe, okay? We're going to put the command union that allows us to select more than one item from the table, okay? So we got union, got selected from the table. Remember, this is a relational database. So that means that within this database, for this web server in particular, that's set up by this dummy website, okay, they're going to have an actual table that's categorized with the information, right? Information for a column for ID, column for username, column for password, so on and so forth. Okay. So we're going to do union, select, and then we're going to put one. Okay, we're just going to select either from column one. Okay, and then the semicolon means that it's the end of the search, and we're going to do that. Okay, now let's try that. Okay, still taking false. Okay, so we don't get anything back from that one. Alright, so now we just got to discover a username that's within the database, because we're going in blindside, right? Line search for structured query language injection. So we don't have any information, that's why it's blind. So now we got to dig a little further. So we just got to keep using different commands and see if we can get something else. So now we're going to do select, and now we're going to select multiple items. Okay, so that's what we have 1, 2, and 3. So I mean, it's going to try different columns, okay, or different different items within. It's going to be different rows. So like row 1, row 2, row 3 within the username column, okay, or vice versa. then we're going to put where. Okay. At the database, just like programming, notice we're going to have these empty parentheses for the argument. Okay. Then I'm going to put the command apostrophe. Okay. And then we have percent sign or modulus. I'm not sure exactly what they call it in structured query language injection. We're going to have the modulus or percent symbol, meaning anything that's going to be like what we put in for the argument equal to that. And notice if we have the apostrophe, means kind of so it's left open ended for us, so it can return a lot of information for us. Because we're blind, we don't know what we're going for. Okay. So then now let's see if we get what statement we get back. Okay. So now obviously it took that argument, it took that command, took that argument, and it held true. Okay. So with that said, there's going to be some admin name or some username within one of these rows, okay? Or username the main username as admin123 in particular, okay? So now we got to dig a little deeper. Okay, so we got a true response. Now we're going to see if we get something. Now remember, we have these two apostrophes right here, and that modulus symbol meaning that it's empty. We just want to see if there's anything within that row that returns something within this area, right? So now we're going to see there's a username within the database table that has an S. Okay, that has an S. The letter S within the username. We can put it in there. We can put A, we can put S, D, whatever. We're going to just do S. Okay, like S for super. We'll try that. Okay, I would also return true. So obviously there's some username within that table that has the letter S in it. Okay, and then also if the data table, so now I think let's go back over this. Okay, so we have the admin. There's a username within these rows. Okay, where the username is admin, and it's available. It holds true. It's not taken up. All right. Then within the database, the argument for the database, okay, we have these open parentheses, close parentheses, that's like S. Okay, so in other words, it's a database table, or is the letter S within the name of the database table. Okay, so I had to go over that. All right, so then now we're just gonna move on to another character. Okay, so now we're going to the next character of the database name until we can find something with another true response. Right? So we can put in a bunch of stuff. We can do, and this is where you gotta kind of really be on it and just keep going for it. We can try something like S. Let's try like S, and let's try like we'll try that. Okay, let's try those arguments. So let's see the data table has any in the database like that. Okay. Oh, so it came back false. Okay. What if we did, and now notice it's going to take it exactly how it is. Okay, so even though the database could have these letters in it, it's going to take it as if it's the actual name is this. Okay, so if the actual name starts with SQLi, okay, not just has just those letters. So I'll make that clear. So let's try SQLi. All right, so the name of the database table, okay, or the database itself, actually has, or the name of itself actually begins with these three letters, okay, or those three letters within the name itself, okay. So let's keep going forward. We're gonna try that's true. SQLi. I think it's like a real joke because we're doing structured language injection. The acronym for it. Let's try this. So fourth challenge. Let's try SQLi 4. Oops, I returned false. So obviously that's not there. Let's try 3. Nope. All right. So then let's try this. Since the flag has this, let's try it on this corner. And let's try. I think it's the fourth challenge, so that doesn't work. Let's see. This is our third flag. Let's try that. Okay. So that didn't work. What if we try? This is third flag, or flag number 3. Forget it. Third challenge. Let's try the word 3. All right. So that held true. Okay. So from there, I'm just going to assume that the database or the name of the database is this. Okay, I'm going to assume that this is the name of the database. That's pretty wrong. So now moving on from there, we can take it even further. Okay, so then now we're going to put in, so then now we're going to assume that that's the name of the table. So then now we want to get the exact name with the admin, and we're going to continue to call more information. So now we're going to do, so we got the name of the database, and let's get the particular name of the table. So let's change the structured language query. And notice we have the structured language query being put in into the URL field itself. Okay, so now let's change it up. So we know from those rows or from the table and from the information within the table. Okay, that's why I'm putting information. So let's put that right. Information in the table or tables, because remember, a database can have multiple tables. We're going to put tables, and then we're going to put, because this is another command that we're doing, we're going to put this word in all capital letters, because that's another command. The table, or the table itself. Okay, so we said that one of the table's names. Okay, so we gathered, or we assume that one of the table's names, because we got back a true statement. We assume that the table's name is the structured query language injection acronym, SQLi 3. So table 3 is the name of one of the tables. And then we're also going to do for another argument. And then we're going to put in. Then we're going to another table name. So that's why we put in. Table name like. So characters like, or they have characters like, and we put apostrophe, right? Because it's another argument. Or excuse me, a string. Excuse me, argument, not string. So a string. So it's going to have a table name. Okay, so the name's going to be made of strings. Okay. And then we're going to put A. So in other words, another one of the table names, or names of the table is going to have this string character A up in it. I'm going to put that. We're going to put a semicolon so that that's the end of the query, and 2 dashes. Okay. All right. So unfortunately, another one of our table names does not have the character A up in it. Okay. So we got to do a little more digging. All right. So let's see if we get a little more specific. How about we say, in particular, let's do. Let's change it to table name. Okay. Equals users. Okay. So after the table name equals the users. Okay. Or a column within the table name. So one of the table name is users. Then within one of the columns of the table. Okay. You can have name with characters like within the name. Okay. And the semicolon should that's the end of the code. Let's see if we get a true statement back. So it comes back false. Okay. You keep digging. Let's see maybe if it's going to be the ID. So we'll leave that field the same. So I just want to reiterate. Okay. So we have it in all caps. Okay. And so we're checking to see if the table name or name of one of the tables in the database is users. And then within that table called users, there's a column that has a name. Okay. One of the column names is like ID, right? Or if it's not equal ID. Actually, let's try it. So like, let's do that one. So like that. And do. And then we're going to do column name if one of the column names. Now, if any of you guys done programming, like C++, especially Python, you know what this exclamation equal mark means. It means not equal to ID. So in other words, one of the column names, or if the column names is not equal ID, let's see if it has a true statement. That'll help us realize that, hey, one of the column names is not equal to ID. So we won't use that. Okay, so maybe it's going back off.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the World Wide Web. Alright, so all of that came back false. Okay. So now we gotta discover our valid username. So now let's try this.
Are people actually like listening to you?
Maybe. I'm recording. Alright, so let's try this. We're gonna leave the argument that we have in here, but we're not gonna do this. And in particular, this is what we call a payload. The argument that we're putting behind the URL address. Okay. So let's try this. So we're gonna leave admin123. We're gonna leave the use select because we want to be able to select more than one thing from the table. And we're gonna put from users where the username, okay, those you setting up websites and other stuff like that, or administrators, and then you offload it somewhere else. So you don't change the default password. Okay, I suggest you don't do that because if you notice the table, or if there's a username with the username of admin, a lot of people will leave that as a default setting. They don't change it. Okay, and then if there's a password that has one of these characters like, okay, A or modules up in it. So they didn't get anything back. Okay, so let's do this. Because we're not going to stop with all those characters. I'm trying to keep this video short. So I'm going to assume that username is admin, but just to make sure it is admin, we're going to do alright, so it comes out true. So now we're testing waters. So I'm going to go back a little bit. We're testing waters to see if one of the usernames has the character. So if one of the usernames actually has the characters A up in it. It came back true, so it does. Let's try D.
Can I make a sandwich with that tofu?
Not yet. I need you to empty the dishwasher. Okay, so it has the character D up in it. Let's keep going. Let's see that again. Alright. We're gonna stop there. Obviously one of the usernames in the table is admin. Alright. So now that we confirmed that, we're gonna go back. We're gonna say that hey, obviously we know that one of the usernames is admin. So I'm gonna put admin. Okay. Then it didn't have A as password, so I don't think that the password is going to be password. Because password has letter A in there. When we tried it with the character A, it came back false. So let's try some numbers. Let's try 1. Let's try 1. False, okay. Let's try 2. Remember, it's going to take it exactly as I put the numbers, okay? It's not going to be like random, where we're doing like, hey man, we have to guess. It's going to be actually in the order I put it. So if I put 12, that means that the password actually going to be, hey, it's going to start with 1, start with 2, right? So if I put 12, it comes back false. So obviously 12 is not part of the password. So let's try 2 by itself. 2 is not, the password doesn't start with 2, doesn't have 2 in the password, okay? Let's try 3. Alright, so 3 is part of it. Let's just try 4. Alright, so let's try 5. Wait, I don't know this name. We'll try 6. Alright. For the sake of time, we're going to fast forward. I think we're just going to fast forward. We're going to get this. Let's try this. So it holds true. So H part of it. Alright. So we're going to stop there. Because if I put, let's try 6 after. Nope, false. So 6 not even part of it. So we're just going to try that for the password. So obviously we found out that admin is password. Okay. Then we also found out that this is the password. And now let's try to log in. All right. Okay. So it says okay, meaning held true. It accepted it. Okay. Now we're gonna actually put in this is the flag that we got. All right. So thanks for watching. That's another form of structured query language injection. Okay. We can also do, remember as we did before, we can also do for the username, we can put username, we found that out. But we also can put admin, it can also use the logical statement, okay, to bypass it. And we will try that really quick. Let me just put this flag in before I finish it. Okay, so we're gonna put in the admin, but also let's try the logical statement for apostrophe 1 apostrophe equal to apostrophe 1 apostrophe. Let's try that. Okay, so let's try without apostrophe. Let's try apostrophe 4 and then 1 equals 1. Oh, still didn't work. Usually does. Okay. Well, in this case, it doesn't have setup, but you can also use logic statement. So thank you for watching. That's another video studying skills using structured query language injection.